Hello, everyone. This is White Wolf, and we're going to be talking about being okay with being empathic, being okay to have a tender heart, being okay to address your sensitivities, to look at your sensitivities, and to also delve deep inside of yourself and finding your inner worthiness and knowing that we're all infinitely worthy and abundant of everything in our lives. It's okay to be tenderhearted. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to open up to deeper states of consciousness, but you just have to have the allowance that comes with that. And when we open ourselves up and we don't allow ourselves to just look at everything as black and white, but see that there's a gray area with everything that we're searching for everything that we have within the seeking impulse. And when we allow ourselves to really explore who we are, find out what makes us tick, and find out a new routine, and find out how we can have a sense of direction and to be able to lay out that sense of direction, just be okay with being empathic, with being in your own empathic skin, and knowing that your empathy and your unconditional love and your compassion will always transcend all understanding. So when we realize, when we have this compassion and we have this unconditional love, and we have this inside of ourselves to spread to other humans, because other humans make us more courageous. It allows us to emulate the light of the Creator, to be of that divine expression, to also impart positive influence onto other people because of what we're sensing, on taking the pulse on the collective, an understanding that we're getting that influx of light and that spiritual mass within ourselves, so that we're allowing ourselves to attract the life that we want instead of projecting the life that we don't want. And also the emotions, and also the way we're being too physical, but there needs to be a balance of the non-physical and the physical within our life. So we're finding that fine tuning of balance and action and movement, and allowing ourselves to be unifying everything within our life so it comes into sync, and there's synchronistic moments, and there's moments that allow us to see and look into the sun and see the bright side of everything. It allows us to see, what can we be appreciative of? What can we be so grateful for? Why are we here? And yes, you do have something to live for, and you can show up to your life as if you're meant to be there. And so it's okay to be empathic. It's okay to be epic, excited, and knowing that your desires can be very pure by sensing that empathic ability, that intrinsic ability to tap into really who we are. Because when we're empathic, we allow our emotions to be out there. We allow what we don't like to be all on the table. We allow ourselves to be the release, and we allow ourselves to see past what is illusion and what is actually reality. So a lot of the times in life, we're experiencing an illusion, a false projection, but now we can finally see what it's like to be living. So we can finally become the manifestation of life. And I had 2 clients today, and they blessed me because I related to them, and we can have a familiarity. We can see God within each one of us. We can see peace and love and tranquility within us to allow ourselves to receive, but also the amount that we give will allow us to receive even more. So when we allow ourselves to give, we allow ourselves to receive. And when we allow ourselves to receive, we're able to give more. And it's always a two-way street with the divine. And the divine is always fair, and it's always clear, and it's always very precise with the divine obedience and the orchestration of God's source energy. So it's not always having the right words, but it's finding out what is aligned energy or what is a false projection. What is a lie that we're believing in and deceiving ourselves, or seeing the truth of all that there is. So we can allow ourselves to open up to what's really true and get to the bottom of it and process it and get rid of certain emotions that don't fit within our vibration, right? Or maybe we have to seek validation of others when we don't have to do that at all. We don't have to seek validation of others. You don't have to know what this person thinks about you. You don't have to know what that person thinks about you. If they don't like you, they don't like you, right? So it's like we should validate ourselves. We have to reevaluate ourselves and check ourselves before we wreck ourselves in order to engage more with the divine. So I was blessed by my two clients, the Lacardi, so I want to give a shout out to them. They were so amazing. I enjoyed having the appointments with them, and I love the reflection back that what I was giving to them was authentic. So I want to say God bless you both, and I hope that you guys excel at whatever you want to do in your lives. And that's what I wish for everybody else for being super empathic, that you can excel at everything in your life if you truly believe in yourself to the point where you know. Believe in yourself to the point where you know it for a fact, and it cannot be changed or distorted or manipulated. So we don't allow ourselves to give into the deception or the manipulation, but we allow ourselves to flow to the energy that is present because we're actually feeling our emotions for the very first time, when we're allowing ourselves to be okay with our empathic nature. So we're actually processing our emotions, but we get to pick our thoughts and pick our emotions, pick our reality, pick what shirt we're going to wear, and I thought I had my necklace on backwards. I don't. I guess it's shining that bright. But it's like not getting muddled in the details, not worried about outcome, because that's being empathic in a negative sense, because you're getting muddled in all the details, right? You're getting lost, and then your train of thought goes in this way, and then you're repeating this pattern, then you keep hitting a wall, and then you're resisting yourself, or you're not vocalizing with your throat chakra, and it gets all jumbled. And I think everyone experiences this some way or another. So when we are able to experience what it means to be empathic, that means we get to choose what energy signature we want to be in, what energy we want in our vortex, and what energy we want to be surrounded by. So I think it's very key to see, okay, I can choose not to vibrate in that energy just because I'm in a specific area. Or if I'm having an argument with my significant other, that doesn't mean I have to stoop to their level. So be okay with being empathic. Empathic abilities are very essential in the month of April. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to recognize and look yourself in the mirror and project out all of your toxic traits and look at yourself, and then finally get to that point where you accept yourself without any type of bias, so that you can fully accept the person that's looking back at you, so that you can reciprocate the creator looking back at itself. Because if we're against ourselves, then we're against the embodiment of channeling the higher self. We're against it. We're going against the grain. And that's why it always feels very negative whenever you are unwilling to be receptive or empathic, or allowing yourself to heal, allowing yourself to recalibrate. Sometimes you're going to have days where you're tired. It's okay to be tired, but recognize that. Recognize that you have the ability to be tired and let that go. So I hope the internet connection is good, and hopefully just know that you guys can book a private session with me as well. I want to see if I put my links in the bottom, but you can also book a private session with me for $70 for psychic readings, healings, activation codes, downloads, and things of that nature. But I wanted to really take the pulse on what people are feeling. Feeling means that you actually have a soul. You actually have compassion. You actually have unconditional love within yourself to be able to discern, to be able to act upon, to also be able to give yourself and allow yourself to empower yourself by the very fact that you're allowing yourself to feel, heal, transcend the human condition, the limiting beliefs, and using your emotional guidance system as a way and a sense of direction. It's balancing the polarity of positive and negative. So when we're unwilling to be empathic, we're really choosing, are we choosing to be more negative, or we're choosing to be more positive? And we're having to balance that out and channel that polarity. So the amount of times that I choose to empower myself, that I choose to use switch words, a specific phrase, a specific word within that phrase that can lead to manifestation. Changing your vocabulary, changing your routine, changing the way that you just lash out. But if you need to lash out, then by all means do that. But once you get to the point, you can see that this thought may arise, this process, this direction can arise, but I can choose to ignore it. I can choose not to give my power away to that thought process or that type of energy or a past lifetime progression that I have been experiencing. So many times throughout the day, we always have a choice to either be the embodiment of God's source energy, or we will experience our own hell, or we can experience our heaven in the present, here, now, ever present. You have free will, and when you are not allowing yourself to be empathic or to receive or to allow yourself to manifest, you're actually going against yourself. You're going against God, because we are all the channeled embodiment of God in the human body. So then we're going against the God within ourselves. So we're not allowing ourselves to be greater than what we are. And you're stronger than all of you guys think. And I have to say this for myself, because all of my messages are really for me. Every message I give, I'm really talking to myself, but I'm also speaking to you guys. But I'm also speaking to myself, because every time we're channeling, or if we channel a being, if we're channeling an angel, you better listen to that message, because it could very well ring true for you. If someone's going live and they're like, none of my messages are for me, then that's very egotistical, and they just have an exalted, egotistical mind, and they just think oh, I'm not really speaking to myself. And yes, we're all speaking to ourselves. So, and it's just looking at ourselves as an instrument. We're looking at ourselves as like a scientific method, an hypothesis, a theory, because we're the instrument that allows the meditation to flow, the energy to flow, but to create different portals and gateways and manifestation, and also a way to feel again, a way to assess your emotions, assess your thoughts. If we allow our thoughts to get so unwound and unhinged in our emotions, who's in control then? So you're like having control. You're like the car that's driving itself. And I said this for years. You're like the car that is driving itself. That means you're like a basketball player when they're playing basketball. You're unconscious, but you're conscious. You know what I'm saying? But you're not thinking about it, because you know that's the course of action that you need to take. That's the course of action you need to go with, because that is what's going to speak to your vibrations, speak to your truth, and also speak to your resonance, because that's more empowering and it's more loving. And being empathic is showing self-love, but then you show compassion without a condition, without feeling like someone's an object, because you don't see them as a silly human being. You see them as God. You see them as worthy, in a sense. So I hope the internet connection is good. So yeah, like when they say a basketball player is unconscious, or when someone's freestyle rapping, they're hitting something within their pineal gland that is allowing them to just excel, because they're flowing to the energy that is present. And that's why it comes out right, and that's why they're hitting the shot. So like when they're saying they're unconscious, they're really saying that they have a consistency about them. So I think it's about consistency. I think it's about dedication. I think it's just being consistently into feeling and opening up and vulnerability in the divine feminine, to allow ourselves to be love at the end of the day, be truthful, and allow yourself to get out of bias, because then you're allowing yourself to realize and then assess and be more cognizant about thoughts, feelings, emotions, channeling, and getting to the heart of the matter instead of beating around the bush. So, and also we're going to do a meditation. So if you guys want to take part in that meditation as well, you can do that. I had a bug on my face. It was weird. So if you want to take part in this meditation, you can receive this meditation. You can also book private sessions with me for $70. And also, if you see me ever go live doing free readings and healings on this app, you can receive as well, because I do lives where I do free readings. But right now, you can get a free meditation and message and things of that nature. Okay. So allow yourself to take a big beginning to experience reality. So allow yourself to look yourself in the mirror and accept that person without any bias. Get a sense of worthiness with the tenderness of your own heart. Because it allows us to be free. It allows us to break the chains that are binding us, the cords that are binding us to people, places, and things, so that we can finally tap into frequency and resonance and truth and embodying it, and to really stand firm in it and to not waver from our empathic abilities. That we can change our sensory input. That we can finally activate the pineal gland. And that we don't have 2 eyes, but we have 3 eyes. When we embrace our empathic abilities, what we're allowing ourselves to do is to feel, is to love, is to nurture, and to give love without condition, and to give endlessly, knowing that we've already received the undeniable blessing of God's source energy. We reprogram our frame of mind. We allow our DNA to be changed. We allow ourselves to have a new outlook. By choosing to be empathic is not suppressing anything in your life. No restriction, there's no limits, and you're staying within the stretching zone of creation. Because you're getting past your comfort zone and you're not panicking. There's no anxiety because you're not thinking of outcome. You're not thinking of the details. You're not thinking of this one thought that makes you go into this pattern. You're just kind of done with it. You're just fed up. And even if you have to say the negative thing many times to the point where it sounds really ridiculous, then do so. But you can see through the lie in that, the inconsistency of that. And you allow yourself to open up even greater and deeper. You allow yourself to channel internally so that the external follows with you. You regain your innocence, in a sense. You allow yourself to think of a time where you were most carefree, like as a child, or just moments in your life where you had absolute bliss. Moments where you can see yourself succeeding. So you can place your desired reality in the present, and you can have it here now. And you've already teleported in your future manifestations. So it's changing the feeling, it's changing the momentum, it's changing the vibration before you experience your own emotions. It's just setting the precedent to the way that you can be empathic. So change the energy, change the routine, change the way that you meditate. In the way that it speaks to you. Do it the way you want to do it. Meditate how you meditate. But don't think that your needs are the same as your wants or your desires or your passions or your goals or your ambitions. Because being empathic allows us to encapsulate and capitalize on that. Pick your thoughts, pick your emotions, pick your state of being, and maintain that enlightened awareness. The truth always sets us free, but awareness allows us to become. Channeling internally will allow us to be an example, to be a creator, to be the oracle of love line wisdom. To be a prophet of this new generation. But love yourself today, and don't forget who you are, and remember yourself fully at this moment in time. And so it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed that meditation. If you ever see me go live doing free readings and healings, take up that. And also, you can book private sessions with me, White Wolf. Feel free to share out. Feel free to donate. If you can't find me, I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, White Wolf the Oracle, YouTube, Instagram, White Wolf 4741, BitChute, White Wolf the Oracle 23_@. And don't be afraid to be empathic. Don't be afraid to be sensitive. Actually feel your emotions and know that they are just as real as you make them. Because negative emotions are not real. But positive influence, positive reinforcement, empowering emotions generate realities, parallel realities. They generate manifestations. They generate more love when you compliment yourself or compliment your significant other. And proclaiming it and declaring it and knowing that it's a base level truth. So that was my live feed. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. You are a blessing to me. So I want to thank you all, and also two of my clients that I had today. Thank you so much for letting me serve you. It's the people that allow us to be awesome. It's the people